All right, so kicking off our list with the number one thing that I see a lot of Kimberlys mess up on, or just I see a lot of Kimberlys do, is doing their round start slide right away, right? For those of you that do this, just make sure that you stop doing this. Stop doing slide in general. Stop throwing out random slides. Stop throwing out them from like full screen. Just don't do it. It's very predictable, and a lot of Kimberlys do it. And if you're wondering why it's bad, it's because when you do it, you're essentially giving your opponent a free combo every single time, right? So I'm going to put Kimberly to her block reversal, and I'm just going to put her onto, not heavy kick, heavy punch, right? This is Kimberly's main punish counter, and this can lead into tons of damage. This can lead into tons of damage in a mix-up. And every single character has a combo that they can do on you with this. So this is why you're going to need to stop it so much, because you're going to be losing lots of health. And this is just in theory, if it potentially gets blocked. I'm giving Kimberly a free combo automatically from that, right? She's going to be getting an entire free, I'm basically just giving her a bunch of free damage. I'm basically just giving her a bunch of free, just anything. I'm basically giving her a mix-up situation afterwards. It is a very bad thing. You do not ever want to do that. Same with the random teleports. Again, it can just be anti-air'd super easily. And for those of you guys that don't know, since it is an ability, when it happens, you're in the state called force knockdown. And essentially what that means is that she can just get an entire free combo off of it, right? Because you're in force knockdown. So I'm going to get an entire free combo just off of the fact that you're in force knockdown. Again, this is character specific, but a lot of characters will be able to do a lot of damage, even if that's just giving your opponent a free DP, a free super out of it. I know that a lot of the Shotos can combo into their level 1 super out of getting like a heavy punch into their level 1. So you're going to be taking level 1. So it's just going to be a lot. Don't do it. Just stop doing that. That is the main habit. Just focus on getting the old way. It's okay maybe to throw it out every 10 games. That's when I usually throw it out. But seriously, those two moves are going to be the main thing. I would suggest you don't use it at all until you get more comfortable with the getting in normally with Kimberly, and you're able to do the other things that we're going to, and you also are just able to just be better at just getting in using your medium kick, which is actually going to lead us into our next thing. Is I see a lot of Kimberlys, surprisingly enough, especially in the lower ranks, not using her standing medium kick well enough. This, in my opinion, is honestly the best medium kick button in the game, and is probably one of the best buttons in the game just in general. The range on it is absolutely insane. That is that is insane range right there. It's pretty decently fast. It's safe on block. And you can also get a free combo off of it, as well as get a hit confirm off of it. But the amount of people that I see that just don't use this are absolutely, it's crazy. You just see a lot of people just not use it. And it is definitely something that you want to implement into your game plan even more if you're not going to... Even if you're not going to know how to use it effectively. Even if you're just walking up to your opponent and just medium kick, medium kick, medium kick. Even if you're just hitting them with medium kick and you're not even going into her combos or anything, which is another thing that we can look into, it's just going to be something that a lot of players are going to need to do a lot more, and I definitely think it's one of the better moves in the game. Again, you're able to hit confirm it, you're able to cancel into it for a full combo, you're able to actually get a little mix-up off of it with the fact that you can go overhead or low. You're able to get a lot of stuff off of it, and it's definitely something that you're going to want to use into your game plan a little bit more. The next thing that I see a lot of Kimberlys mess up on, and that I'm seeing a lot more do, is that they're not doing her safe strings very often, right? Especially in the lower ranks where people tend to mash, not doing your safe string can oftentimes mess you up. What do I mean by safe string? I mean something that she can get jabbed out of, right? So for example, I do notice that a lot of Kimberlys like to try to do this and go for an overhead, even though they can get jabbed out of that. Or they'll do medium kick into their run, right? Which they can obviously get jabbed out of. And it's just the fact that with Kimberly, it's already hard enough to get in, and you really do need to worry about more conditioning your opponent. The amount of times I'll be playing against someone and they'll try to do this, which will get them out, or they'll do this. It's actually kind of crazy how much you're going to see that. And it's not bad all the time, but it's also just not good. You never want to just be throwing out unsafe strings left and that often. And the problem is that a lot of Kimberlys, especially in the lower elos, will tend to do this a lot more than you actually think they will. They'll just essentially giving away free hits left and right. I'm just taking damage, and of course you can string these together. There's a lot that can happen into this, and it's just the fact that you're going to be giving your opponent free pressure, you're giving up your own pressure, you're giving away essentially a lot for very, very little, in my opinion. The next thing that I see a lot of Kimberlys also do as well that really kind of just irritate me a little bit is the fact that I also notice that a lot of Kimberlys will tend to not use their cans correctly in the corner, or just not use their cans in general. The amount of times I've watched Kimberlys play, especially again in the lower elos, is where I'm starting to notice this a lot more, even in Masters, is that they just won't use their cans. You need to get these can setups. These can setups are a part of your kit. It's essential. It is better to use your cans than to not use them at all in that game, right? And even if they get blocked, the amount of drive meter that it's doing as well, and the amount of drive meter that you're just going to be able to take away from your opponent is going to be absolutely insane. Just from one can and like a simple block string, she's going to be losing drive meter. It's not going to be like a crazy amount of drive meter, but it's better than nothing. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's not going to be a lot of drive meter, but look, it's about a bar. So you're essentially getting a free level 2 amount of drive meter taken away from them. And that is something very big that I noticed that a lot of Kimberlys mess up on, and that's something that you need to do. You don't carry your cans into the next game, and also you don't need to really worry about wasting your cans, because you can also just get it back for 2 meter on a setup again. Or you can even just get 1 back for no meter. So you can get them back. You don't carry them into the next game. And even then, well, they are very useful. They aren't always going to be something that are going to make or break the game if you have. Sure, there are going to be some situations where it's like, damn, if I would have had a can there, that would have been really useful. But again, it's not going to like always. It's not going to like make or break the game. It's not going to make or break neutral because you just didn't have a can. It's something that is there just to give you more options, and is definitely something that I would absolutely consider using off of, especially when when you guys are mid screen and you just manage to get a slide off, throwing a can in the corner, pressuring them to jump or walk forward, or just getting away from there is something very big that you can do. Number 4 is definitely going to be not doing her mix-ups correctly, right? Or just not using her mix-ups in general. Kimberly is a character that relies very, very heavily on mix-ups. She has a lot of damage, so it's very like, what would be the word, mandatory for her to get in and be able to get those mix-ups down, right? Because you take on average 7 interactions to kill someone, so having the ability to just make your opponent have to guess on 1 interaction is going to be absolutely huge for it to do. But the amount of Kimberlys that I see that will do like this basic string and just not go for the correct follow-up, or just go for the same thing over and over again, will just be absolutely insane. For those of you guys that don't know, doing this string right here leads into a 3-way mix-up, because I can go low, I can go high afterwards for the overhead. Oops. I can go high afterwards for the overhead if I want to, or I can go for the grab out of this. It's a mainly time meaty grab, but I can still go for the grab, right? If I just think that they're going to parry. And then, as well as that, I can also jab and bait the DP. I can back off and just shimmy. I can just simply walk up and grab. I can walk up and shimmy. I can just walk up and throw out a medium. You just get so many options out of it, and it is a very big thing that I noticed that people need to do more often, especially when you're in a situation where you guys are right here. And yes, slide is going to be useful here because of the amount of corner care that you're going to get. And yes, you are also able to get a mix-up off of the slide, but it's going to be a little bit more tricky to do, and it's just not something that I would recommend that the lower tier play, that if you're struggling with these 5 things on Kimberly, I would not recommend that would be one of the things that you would need to do. For those guys that don't know those, just dash into your drive rush. Again, I don't tend to use it very often, but I know that some Kimberlys do like to use it. But yes, this is definitely something that a lot more Kimberlys need to start doing, because for those of you guys that also don't know, these are all meaties. These are all of these are meaties. Even the overhead is a meaty. So again, having the ability to just mess somebody up like that and just forcing them to guess every single time, or just take it and then be plus on block. And if on top of that, if any of these connect, if either the high or the low connect, you just go right back into the mix-up again, putting your opponent in another guessing situation. So it's absolutely just one of the most broken things because of just how often they just loop into each other. And getting 2 of them correctly as well from over there. Oh, cool. We're already here again. Cool. Now I'm making you guess again. Let me go for another low. So make sure that you're just throwing them around a little bit. Obviously, a lot of people I know don't really expect the overhead very often, but this is definitely something else that you're going to need to know. I would say use the overhead twice and then start going for lows. That would be my main thing. I don't really do that too often. Personally, But definitely whenever I'm against lower tier players, that is when I tend to use this. This is a lot of like low elo mistakes too. This isn't necessarily high elo mistakes that I see a lot of players do. The last thing that I noticed that a lot of players don't do is doing the elbow drop. The elbow drop, for those of you guys that don't know, stops all of your movement in the air. This will, and by all your movement, I mean it will just straight up stop you, right? Okay, well, why is this useful? Well, there's two main reasons. One, it can make your opponent guess on a cross-up, so they are going to have to guess which side I'm going to jump over to. They're also going to have to guess if I'm going to drop on them right away. So I can just go over here. Oh, no, empty grab instead. Or I can like be at max height and then go for it, right? But that's okay. That's one. I guess that's one of the reasons why it's kind of useful. But the main reason, in my opinion, why it's useful is because of the fact of how many people like to anti-air DP. Even in the lower elos, you'll actually see a lot of players try to do these anti-airs, which is fine in my opinion. If they want to do these, if they want to do the anti-air DP, that's totally okay with me. I don't really care. I can't do DP motions apparently. But for those of you guys that don't know, right, everything in this game has to be spaced. Everything, right? So he's going to space. So for example here, he's going to be, I'm going to have him space his anti-air. Okay. So I know where he's at. I can do an elbow drop and bait his anti-air. So he does 1, 2, 3, bam. And notice how I'm stopping before, how if I just go for a full jump, I would get anti-aired every single time. So if we're at neutral, where I was doing it from before. Right? So we're at neutral where I do it before. I jump, I get anti-aired. I can do elbow drop though instead. And essentially just stop all my movement where I would have been before. If I jump in too far, I'm still going to get anti-aired, obviously. It's not going to be a perfect solution, but definitely I can space it out and get super close to where his anti-air is going to be. As well as I believe it also makes it drop a little bit faster. I'm not too sure though. And because kind of just like a bonus tip, and just the last one that I have, is I see a lot of Kimberlys cash out their supers a lot. So they might do something like this, just attack on a little bit of extra damage, and it might not even kill. Don't do that, especially if they're above. Unless you think it's going to kill, don't ever do that. And the reason why you don't ever want to do that is because her level 3 gives a buff. And essentially what the buff does is it will give you extra damage as well as extra speed, movement speed as well. So it will make your character a lot faster. And on top of that, your character also gets a damage buff as well. So you're going to be dealing more damage. And then also you just get that kick-ass soundtrack. I hope this video was very helpful. Those are the main things that I noticed a lot of Kimberlys do wrong. If you guys want to just if you guys need any more help or advice, or you just want a free VOD review or something like that, I usually stream, and I've been streaming a lot more recently. I'm probably going to be live actually whenever this video comes out. Twitch.tv/TheRealExpress. I'll put a link down to it in my bio. I hope you all are I hope everyone watching this has a great day, and I hope everyone has a good time in their rank ups. I'm going to be releasing a couple Kimberly guides, and for those of you guys that don't know, I'm also going to be doing a series called Number 1 Kimberly to NA, where I'm going to try to reach the top of Kimberly NA before EVO next year, or before at least I attend my next major, which from the look of it is either going to be Combo Breaker or EVO. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys found this video useful at all, please like and subscribe. Any questions, you guys can come into my Twitch chat and ask me, or you guys can come into my comment section and ask me. I will always answer. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a great day. Goodbye.